I've gone ahead and typed up my plan, and I'll quickly review it today, and then we'll get to writing today. So again, my main character, his name is Tommy. That's me when I was in grade 4. My villain is my brother, my older brother, 3 years older than me. He started junior high this year, and he's super cool. Okay, my setting is an abandoned shopping mall. It's closed due to the pandemic, and we're there because my parents had kicked us outside because we were playing too many video games, and they're sick of us fighting over who plays what. And so we've wandered over to the shopping mall and found an open door. We're wandering around the shopping mall, and all the stores are closed, and from the outside of the chapters, I can see a book stand with the brand new Goblet of Fire, which I haven't read yet, sitting on the shelf. I beg my brother to help me, but he ignores me. He tells me to go away, stop bothering him, because we've been fighting all day. At this point, my brother starts to feel a little bad. He's the older brother. He's the one who's expected to be more responsible, and so he pops open the door using a debit card trick, and he brings me the brand new book. The moral of the story is, even though we're fighting, we're still family. We can apologize and get along. You know, my brother, who maybe was the reason we got kicked outside in the first place, kicked outside playing video games because he was hogging the Nintendo 64, he feels bad, and so he decides to get me that Goblet of Fire book as a way of apologizing. And that's my crazy story this week. So let's get to writing, and then it'll be your turn. Here's my first paragraph. I really wanted to start with giving my reader an idea of what life was like when I was in grade 4. And this would have been in the 1999 and 2000. And so at this time, we had just gotten an N64, and there was a game called GoldenEye, which was a James Bond game, and it was a shooter, and you got to play against your brothers, and it was so much fun. Obviously, we didn't have internet. We couldn't play with people online, but we could play with people that came over. So our friends would come over, and we'd play this game for hours, and our parents would get upset and kick us outside. And so I really wanted to start with this idea that the N64 was like the greatest gaming console ever designed by man at this time. Obviously, things change. And so let me read my first paragraph, and then I'll start my second one. Kids these days don't know what it was like. The graphics, the controllers, the shiny N64 logo. It was all I ever wanted to do. GoldenEye was the game. I know all you think about is Fortnite or Valorant or whatever the new hot game is, but in the 90s, James Bond GoldenEye was the greatest game I ever laid my pudgy hands on. So I've continued my story setting up the scene where we get in trouble from our mom. We start fighting over whose turn it is to play GoldenEye. And it's that moment that my mom, who's already warned us that if we're fighting over who's playing, nobody's playing, kicks us out of the house. And it's at that moment everything falls apart. And suddenly, instead of getting my 20 minutes of playing, I get nothing. I'm going to wrap up today by reading my story, and then Friday I'll come back for some editing and revising. Kids these days don't know what it was like. The graphics, the controller, the shiny N64 logo. It was all I wanted to do. GoldenEye was the game. I know all you can think about is Fortnite or Valorant or whatever the new hot game is. But in the 90s, James Bond GoldenEye was the greatest game I ever laid my pudgy hands on. My parents were very concerned about the amount of time we three boys spent behind the television. Within days of my brother opening the shiny new console, we had a little white egg timer set for 20 minutes. For 20 glorious minutes, we were transported to a world of secret agents, assassinations, and nail-biting violence. That's 20 minutes, I say, grinning with delight. Just let me finish the level, groaned my brother Mitch, desperate to spend every last second of his Saturday gaming. No way, I cry. You know what happened yesterday. I reach for the controller, but he easily pushes me away. The problem is Mitch is 3 years older than me. He's already in junior high. Fighting him is like fighting a wall. He just pushes me away, or worse, sits on me. Imagine an elephant deciding to plop its enormous behind on your chest. He's so heavy, I can't even breathe. I look forward to reading all of your crazy, silly writing this week, and I'll see you back on Friday for editing and revising.